They are quite sharp, and he knows he does grip and use them. Again, Claire was talking about with training, he does get coat once a month now. It was every 6 weeks, and now it's every 4, just to keep on top of it, because we noticed that when his beak was getting too long, he would get frustrated with his food. He couldn't tear it. Sometimes, and we always cut it up for him, but sometimes he would even tear it into the tiniest little bit, and we're just like, really? Seriously? My cat could eat something. But, so we just sit there and wait, and then now when his beak is too long, he just won't even try. He drops it, he walks away, he gets kind of depressed, kind of frustrated, he gives up. So now that our coping is it's kind of more proactive than preventative, so now he doesn't get in those moods quite as often. So he feels a little better. But we do have to not train for like the day after or so, just to give him time to recover. And also now we don't have to trim it quite as much as we used to. So it's all getting better for him, and it's less of a terrible experience, and it's just, again, becoming part of his routine. He'll do it forever. So he'll be able to do it. So, this is what I'm talking about. He's like an elephant, where he fronts, he bluffs, and you jerk back, and we always say, he likes to make you what was the word I said? Flinch. He likes to make you flinch, and he does. I mean, you'll just be standing there, and you'll be like, and he'll be like, you're like, oh. All right. You got the, he thinks it's hilarious. Yes. So we've had to learn to control our impulses. And, again, he just fronts. He hasn't done any damage or anything, but that's an example of what you get. And then you just have to, no, we're going to do this. Right, exactly. I'm in charge. I can do it too. So, his new enclosure, there's obviously been different changes throughout the time that he's been in there. Everything from new stones to new perches to different things. So that's great enrichment for him. He gets different furniture and seasonal. Yes, that's right. So what he was in is he started to become a little possessive and a little protective in his enclosure. And that was where we started to have to just kind of go in there and walk around and touch everything. One thing to note as well is he knows, we were talking about intelligence, he knows the gloves. So he knows the training glove, and he knows the vet gloves. So big orange gloves mean, oh no. Training glove means I'm going to get bit. So whenever we don't want to go in there with any big orange gloves, if we can't find the training glove or something happened to the tweet, then we just don't go in there, because we don't want him to think that every time we come in with these big orange gloves, he's going to have to worry. And that goes for a lot of our animals too. Once they see those big orange gloves,
like they know when the vets are walking past them.
they do.
Do you see that again at their swimming pool?
He already has one. You'll see. It's very good. Yes. It's very nice. And he likes it a lot. So basically, just talking about his new enclosure, that's when he started getting possessive and protective. But I wrote that pretty quick. Touching on stuff. And then now he's ready for training. Claire also talked about that, the jesses and the anklets. And yes, he only has one on now, one jess. He has kept his anklets on very nicely. And we do kind of think of it as his new jewelry. I was got bling. And yeah, we do think of it as new jewelry. And we just kind of let him get used to it. We didn't start touching, we didn't start training with those particular items for a while. He just kind of had to get used to having them there. He's gone through 2 jesses. He's on his 2nd batch, which I think is pretty amazing, because he rips them in half. He doesn't pull them out. He rips them in half. So I don't know if he's like stepping on it, like learning, stepping on it and pulling, or if he's like reaching down and breaking it with his beak, which I think is pretty incredible if you did that. So I don't know what he's doing exactly, but he does it. That's true. We'll be able to find out. So when he first started, he was a very, very quick learner. It was great. He was surprisingly, once it wasn't a man training him anymore. And I got him used to someone being in his cage, and then he had the jesses, and he got used to those. Well, as soon as he realized, all you do is you put your hand up, and he'll like put a little pressure on his legs, and he'll just step right up, and then he gets rewarded. He got it right away. First thing, he got it. So he was very smart and learned quickly, and it seemed that he really enjoyed learning. He liked the new experiences. He liked the training, the enrichment. He really did to it. And then it got boring. And I think some of you may have been here, I don't know, this summer sometime, and we chatted about it, but this summer was when he decided not to do it anymore. So then we tried, but we kept going in and coming out and saying, okay, you're not going to get the food anymore, that kind of thing that Claire talked about. And then all day long, we still would do it. And I wasn't about to not feed him, so I would feed him at the very end of the day when I was tired and needed to go home. So really, I was training him that way, but he knew he would get the food eventually. He held out. Yes. He won. He was a little more stubborn than me. But then I realized that he liked toys and games better than food at this moment. He changed, so we had to change too. So instead of a food reward, he liked toys and games. And this wasn't accomplishing too much and getting him on the glove, but it was working on that trust relationship, working on the respect, things like that. So you just always have to kind of go with the flow there. And so his motivation turned to his Kong. And luckily they make Kongs strong enough for dogs and eagles. So that's great. And I tried to train him one day. You guys probably read it on the web about our fetch game. Surprised the heck out of me. Because, one day I just go up there and he's not having it. And he just stands there looking at me like, yeah. And then turns around, flies off. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, you're done. And then he just runs up to his phone, picks it up, flies up to the perch where I'm standing, and holds it there. So I'm like, I'm supposed to put it. You want to give it to me? And he drops it in my hand. So I'm like, well, I'm done. Threw it, and it landed in his pool, which I was like, oh no, the wrong place. I don't want to go in there. He jumped in, got it, came back out, did it a few more times, and then he let me feed him. And I was like, okay. So you changed your mind. Yeah. And he's been
Who's got trade there?
Huh?
Who's got trade
Right.
there?
I think about it a lot. Wait till he starts giving you food. Yeah. Yeah. So, but he's been doing really well. He did play this game the other day as well instead of the food. So, but most of the time he's food motivated now. He's getting up on the glove. He just wants it mixed up a little bit.
So how long did that period last?
It's a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Do you ever record any of your training sessions on some of your training recorder?
No, but apparently we might now. But so yeah, every day. I just wanted to show you guys this. It's kind of a temper tantrum in action. It reminds me of a little kid who's like lying on the ground and his legs are swinging. Any good parent knows that you can't give the kid what they want when throwing a temper tantrum. So when this happens, you just stay there. Wait until he gets it out of his system and go on with the training. That's what he does. So this is where we ended up a few weeks ago after his long stint of a temper tantrum and not being wanting to step on the glove. He was playing his games and doing his thing and again training me. So this is where we ended up, and Claire stepped in and had some new ideas about training. And so at least here at the Wildlife Center. So what we did was, what she said, when something doesn't work, you take a step back. So we pretty much went all the way back to the beginning. It just moved faster because he already knew. But we ended up touching his jesses, touching his anklets, getting him used to that. We fed him from the glove, like I spoke of earlier, instead of tongs, brought him closer to us because he started anticipating the tongs because we bring it up. But now, he wouldn't see us put the food in there, so socialize element there. And so we tried a few different things. We didn't have him step up though, because that's where he stopped. He was done, so we tried a few things. But after he got used to this new routine, he's back to stepping up again, and he looks great. He's doing really well. He's really excited. Again, he's not possessive. Sometimes he still fronts on you, and everything, but not quite as much as before. He's working with several different people, so he's really excelled in his new training protocol, new training program. So he's really starting to become a good representative of his species in a very special, buddy way. So he's gonna be great. And with that, I just I want to thank Buddy for all his hard work. I want to thank you guys for all of your support, for supporting Buddy, for supporting him so that he can then support the other eagles that he'll represent, and for supporting the Wildlife Center. We really, really appreciate everything that you've done. So
We
thank you.
appreciate what you